one part of the social justice conversation. Another issue that needs smart and lasting solutions: recidivism. According to the U.S. Department of Justice, an estimated 68% of released prisoners are arrested within 3 years, 79% within 6 years, and 83% within 9 years.
Our next guest is working hard to break this perpetual cycle. After spending time in prison and experiencing firsthand the same challenges most face, he founded Hope for Prisoners. Jon Ponder joins us to tell us all about this nonprofit that provides hope for all those who feel all has been lost. Jon, good morning. Thanks so much for being with us.
Jessica, Frank, thank you so much for having me. Good morning.
Good morning. So Hope for Prisoners, you're based in Nevada. Tell us more about the nonprofit and how this was born out of your own experience.
All right, certainly. So Hope for Prisoners works with men, women, and young adults that are exiting different arenas of our judicial system. And what we do is provide the supportive services to help those men and women to successfully reintegrate back into their home, back into the workplace, and ultimately for them to help them to be stand-up leaders in the community. Yeah. It was birthed out of my own personal experiences. I was a guy who was coming in and out of the system since I was 12 years old, in and out of different juvenile systems, jails, prisons, the federal prison system. So when I came home in 2009, I saw the tremendous need and necessity to help men and women to transition so they do not go back to the prison system again.
I would imagine you need to get inside and talk to them before they're released and then work with them after they're released as well, because ex-prisoners face so many challenges. Talk to us about some of the challenges they face both in the workforce, in the community, and even within their families.
Right, Frank, so it's so important that the key to our success is to be able to get in there early on. So we have a model where we get in and work with them 18 months prior to them being released. But the secret sauce is an 18-month process that we work with them through case management and mentoring and providing other supportive services. You know, one of the missed mark in reentry, where we've missed the mark in this country, is that the men and women that they need to return back to their home and to wives and husbands, and particularly to get reintegrated with their children. So we make sure there's a mechanism in place to help with that family reunification, because if that component there is not right, if the home life is not right, then everything else in the world has a tendency to fall apart.
And Jon, I heard you in an interview and you were talking about relationships within the community, you yourself having relationships even with law enforcement after getting out that really helped you get through it. And that's what you do with your program. You have faith-based partners, you have volunteers, you have law enforcement. Tell us why these relationships are so important for these former prisoners once they get out.
Right. So we know that in order for us to be successful at what it is that we do, helping men and women return into our communities, that we needed to get the entire community involved. So as you said, we work with the faith-based community. We partner with employers, with the colleges to make sure we have that educational component. But the huge piece of our success is that our sheriff has given us an army of volunteer police officers that serve as mentors and trainers for these folks returning to our community. And never before in the history of reentry, nowhere on this planet has law enforcement gotten this involved in mentoring and training people that are returning to our community, and it has been a key to our success.
You talk about the success. Talk to us about the actual success rate when men and women go through your program from start to finish.
Right. So right now we are running out of the 3,200 individuals that we worked with. You know, the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, they come in and taken a look at, and what they determined was that 74% of the men and women coming through our program was successful in gaining sustainable wage full-time employment so they can take care of themselves and their family. And what they determined that only 6% of those individuals return back to the system.
Wow, considering the initial stat we gave was somewhere 70% or so. Jon, incredible work you're doing. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
For more information on Jon Ponder and Hope for Prisoners, you can go to hopeforprisoners.org. So